QR codes are a vehicle. So it's important, one of the first things to understand is that it's important to understand that QR codes are free to generate. You can simply go to google.com, type in free QR code generator, and you can link a QR code to anything that you want, okay? And it's also important to understand that there is a free application on every iPhone, BlackBerry, Android, Windows 7 phone, okay, that turns your phone into a scanner. Okay, and you take that, and you guys all know that, you place it in front of the QR code, it takes you to a website. So why are QR codes valuable? Why are people gravitating towards them? And the reason is because it's a more instant way to get to a website. It's more convenient. People would rather just scan something than have to type in a URL where you might mess up the URL or something like that. It's just an instantaneous way to get somewhere. But what's also important to understand about a QR code is that it's just a vehicle. So, as in, how many people are familiar with SMS text messaging? So you've got your keyword and your short code. That would be another vehicle to get to a website, right? Because you could text in Gotti to 72727, get a bounce back text message on your phone that would have a link to a URL, and you could get to a website that way. Or obviously you could just type in a URL. So these are all different types of vehicles. Adoption rates. They are irrefutably, I would say, popping up everywhere. You probably start to see them everywhere now. And so when you look at the numbers, last year there was a 4,500% increase in QR code scanning in the first quarter. 20,000 people a day are downloading this app on their smartphone. LG just came out and said that all of their smartphones will now be preloaded with the QR code reader. 99% of the top 100 US magazines contain a QR code or other mobile action code in the first quarter of this year. So it's growing. Okay, and why is this? So what I want to do here is basically I'm just going to go over some of the statistics and kind of why QR codes are important, and then I'm going to go into a case study specifically for law firms. So that's kind of where I'm going for the scope of this. So, but I mean, the fact of the matter here is that 1.82 billion smartphones are predicted to be sold by this year. And smartphones are on pace to outnumber PCs by this year. So utilizing the smartphone as a piece of marketing real estate and utilizing these mobile technologies such as QR codes and SMS, this is why. Because people are finding information about products, about services on their phone. And so these technologies help us to do that. So one of the most important things now that all this data is driving to mobile is to make sure that you have a mobile optimized experience when you get there. So as you can see, the buttons are bigger, text is bigger, easier to navigate, as opposed to when you get to a website on your phone that's not built for mobile, it makes it tough to get what you need to get, because you want to get there, you want to get it, and you want to go. So what I'm going to show you right now is a case study of a company probably most of you are familiar with, Greenberg Traurig, and how they utilize QR codes and SMS technology in their business and the success that they had. This was really the incentive. As you can see here, we took a logo and we put it in the middle of the QR code, and it was scan or text GT Law to, it was actually 55678 was the short code at the time, but I changed it so you guys could actually check it out. So if you guys would like to, you can text GT-LA to 72727 and check it out. And if you want, you can, you're not going to be, it's a mock example, so you're not going to be on any list or anything. It would just be for strictly demo purposes. And you can actually check out the mobile site, but I'm going to show some examples up here. And if you can scan it from there, try it. The purpose and the incentive, which is one of the things you need to think about when you're dealing with a QR code, is why are they going to scan the QR code? What's the incentive? What's the call to action? And in this particular case, we wanted to create some free reports, some free white papers. We were at a SHRM conference in Phoenix, Arizona, and it was for HR professionals. It was for the HR department for Greenberg Trareg. And so Mona made a white paper on the 3 costly mistakes to avoid while performing background checks. And Mike made one on the 7 qualities of highly effective job descriptions. And these, hopefully it doesn't, there we go. These were on the trade show booth at the conference. So as people walked by, you know, when the age old, when you're putting business cards in a fishbowl, and then you got to take those, and then you got to manually input those into some follow-up mechanism. I'll show you how that works, but we'll get there. But essentially, it went on at the trade show space, and you could scan or text. And we gave examples of how to use QR code technology just in case. The other place is talking about where it went is when Mike and Mona were in the same position that I was in right now. As part of their opportunity at the SHRM conference, they each had an opportunity to give a keynote speech. So on their very last slide, they said, hey, if you're interested in our free reports, but what they were hyping up that whole time, go ahead and text GT-LA 55678, and you'll have it, and you'll be able to get our free reports emailed right to you. They also had flyers that were on everybody's desk at the same time. So when they scanned, some of the people that have texted, you're probably looking at this right now, they got to a mobile website where you can watch a little video of Mike and Mona talking about their free reports and what type of information, how they were excited to be at the SHRM conference, and asking you to greet them, you know, if you saw them. And experienced legal team discusses free reports. So then they could click, there was a submitting button here, and then they could choose which report they wanted. And below here, if you were to scroll down, was a name, email, company, lead capture form. So when they did that, they were taken to the thank you page, and then they were sent an email that had the report attached, and that was how we used it. So the result was 50. Now, this was, keep in mind, more than a year ago. And I have to tell you that the adoption rate of this technology has rapidly changed from a year ago. But we had 15 people text in. We captured 24 leads. And overall, we had 37 unique visitors to the site. So overall, there were 500 people at the show. We averaged that about 100 people saw the booth. 22 people scanned the QR code. 15 people reached the mobile site via the SMS. 24 new conversions. 4.8% of total conference attendees converted. 24% of people converted who saw the booth. 64% of people that actually went to the site converted into a lead. So we also had some wireless issues at that show. Where we were at, people were having a hard time on their phone. So that's something important to think about when doing something like this, is the venue that you're at and the type of Wi-Fi reception that you might get. It would be very important to keep in mind. But regardless, Matt said we had 1,000% improvement. And so what I was getting at before with when you put your business cards into that fishbowl, so they were able to export this into Excel and then input it into the CRM. So that's the purpose of this, to get this data into your CRM. Yes?
Would you say that's going to replace those lead retrieval systems, which operate so bad at least in the last?
I don't know if they're going to replace them. The question is that are they going to replace those lead capture scanning mechanisms at trade shows?
They've got to.
I don't know if they're going to, but this is different in the way that it's more of a voluntary action upon the consumer or prospect, and that's a way to get more qualified information about what you want to understand from them. So, takeaways. Powerful call to action. Think about why someone would want to scan your QR code or text in. And think about how that incentive correlates to your target market and what would they, whoever you might be targeting, what would they be interested in? Data capture. Think about what type of information you want to capture. Are you trying to grow your email newsletter? Are you trying to use this as a sales lead for lawyers? Are you trying to do a survey to get certain information about some type of something that would be valuable to you? Follow-up systems in place. The return on investment here is getting this information into a useful place, such as a CRM or an email newsletter, or in the hands of your lawyers. Is it optimized? Is it easy to use? If someone needs to access this on their phone. And that's kind of what I talked about earlier, is who is it that you're going after? So, of course, if you're interested in joining our email newsletter and receiving, we send out a newsletter once a month on case studies, videos, information. You'll also have a chance to instantly win something. So if you win, you could win.